Story that has caught everyone's attention, and Trent Dalton, Alison Sandy, both of you are covering this story. Trent, your piece in the weekend edition of the Courier Mail, of course, it's all about Alison, and you've spoken to her family and friends.
Yes, what I've been doing for about the past week is really exploring the life of Alison, and what I've discovered is a truly remarkable woman, and this is just coming straight from the mouths of friends and family through interviews that Alison has done with the parents and with her best friend. What we're discovering is this woman who is an absolute hard-working achiever through life, did so many things, and at some point in her life completely gave it all up and devoted her life to her children, the greatest things that she always believed that was in her world. An incredibly giving woman, you know, full of spirit and full of joy, but with you know an interesting sort of complexity. You know, she could be quiet at times, and she could be introspective at times, as some of the family members have said, she would sometimes even bottle up her thoughts. And but the overwhelming feeling for this community out there of Brookfield is that their depth of sorrow is in complete reflection to their love of Alison Baden-Clay.
Ali, you've spoken with Alison's parents, the Dickies, and you sat down one-on-one with them, and of course your piece was in Friday's Courier Mail, and I know after speaking to you, you're quite emotional after your time with them.
Absolutely. I mean, her parents and her best friend Kerry Ann Walker, I mean, they're just an inspiration in the way they've held up and the way they've been there for one another. They're all sort of, you know, united in their strength, and are just trying to go day by day in getting by, and now they've got this common focus of, you know, finding out what actually happened. You know, they found the body and they're so relieved about that. They're so humble in their grief as well. You know, they actually consider themselves lucky that, unlike the Morecambes who had to wait so long to find their son's body, that they were able to find Alison's body a lot quicker and then move to the next phase. So yeah, it's really truly it's emotionally draining. You know, even going back and listening to the interviews, and Trent's just sort of put it all together and made it, you know, this beautiful piece on Alison and everybody who's there for her, and just through their eyes, Alison, this beautiful woman.
There's that saying that your family and friends are often a reflection of the person that you are. Trent, these people that you've spoken with, they seem like great people. Oh,
let's look at the Dickies themselves. I remember Anzac Day, I spent about 8 hours down at the emergency scene, and I remember the Dickies bringing down rolls and bread rolls and snacks for the emergency workers. I mean, keeping in mind, you imagine the grief they were going through and the worry and the fear, and yet they were thoughtful enough to do this for the emergency workers looking for their missing daughter. I mean, if you want to know a person, yeah, look at their parents, look at their friends, and look at how many people actually speak so highly of her. And that's what's really struck me. I mean, you will not hear a bad word said about this woman out there in Brookfield, and there's plenty of rumour kicking around that place. And but the one shining truth that has come out of it is just the massive heart that this woman had, and it's been a really interesting week to explore that, and just this ordinary Queensland mum and how she could touch so many people in a community.
And Al, do you think that's why we've all been so affected, is because, as you said, Trent, she's just a Queensland mum. She could be your mum or my mum. Do you think, and after sitting with the parents, Al, you said, you know, that they seem like they could just be, you know, the folks down the street.
Well, that's it. I mean, we talked about that as well, that the fact that you're just living life, and the mother, you know, Priscilla, telling me about her last hug that she had with Alison, having no idea it would be the last hug ever, you know, and not to take anything for granted. I know Kerry Ann as well is very much, you know, just don't, you know, everyone you love, tell them, you know, be there. You just can't take anything for granted. And I guess, you know, that's been the real truth that's driven home here, is that, you know, we live our lives and we put things in. I guess it's helped me and everyone else put things into perspective, because when you have this sort of grief that enters it like they do, you know, it's their one focus, and it's their, you know, it's just survival now for them, and doing all they can for her daughters.
Trent, from spending time with Alison's family and friends and the community, what, I guess it's not the right way to put it, but what would you take away from your time and covering this story?
Oh, definitely an insight into, you know, what's important in life, and she was a perfect representation of that. You know, there's a woman who, you know, as Alison discovered, you know, she would sit with her kids at night and sing Away in a Manger to them to put them to sleep. You know, I mean, there's just nothing more important than that. You know, and I love this sort of I don't know, this sort of awakening she seemed to have had, you know, after this incredible corporate life where she was achieving things most of us would take double the time to do. And she really had this great moment where she just thought, no, I'm going to take focus on my kids. And, you know, that's really left me with a lot of, you know, yeah, anyone can learn from that. And, you know, I went down, she was doing this program down at the local church down there called Mainly Music. And she only did that just so she could spend a bit more time with her youngest daughter, you know, because as you do as a parent, you might spend a whole lot of time with the kids who are in school, but she just really wanted to spend time with this youngest daughter. And, you know, and the people down there, I remember looking at her and just going, wow, she is such a good mum, you know, and, you know, she had this great sort of spirit that really was so strong that it sometimes spilt over to the people she touched. And I just sort of leave that sort of going, I wonder how my legacy would be, you know, and how, I guess the big thing is what a horrible and tragic end, what an ugly way for this beautiful woman for her existence to end that way. And I think that's the overwhelming feeling, you know, that a lot of her friends are feeling, is that Alison Baden-Clay did not deserve that, because she gave so much. And I can't stop thinking about that how she ended up.
It's funny, it's just amazing all the other stuff that you do find out. Her family and Carrie-Anne were talking yesterday about how she would go down to the schools and talk to the teachers and the parents about self-esteem for children, you know, other children, not just her own. You know, she had this, she was going to a conference the day on the Friday when she disappeared on the Thursday, so the day after. And, you know, so she did bits and pieces in between. Obviously her children were her priority, but she did keep giving, you know, she didn't stop, you know, like, it was amazing how she fit so much into this. And she did the pathways, you know, because she majored in psychology, so she had that, that background. But it was phenomenal, the amount that she kept giving to the community, and it just didn't end.
A very special woman, and of course a trust fund has been set up.
Absolutely, yes. Trust fund, Priscilla and Jeff Dickey have set up a trust fund for the Alison's 3 little girls, and all they want, they say that, you know, the dying wish for Alison would have been that they went to Ipswich Girls Grammar. Obviously financial strains in this time, and we've already touched on that in the Courier Mail, so this will guarantee that these girls have that support. Anyone can donate. It's something that we will we'll put all the details in the newspaper and online, and yeah, it's something that I think we all feel like we wish we could do more, so this is a way to do more.
All right, well, Trent Dalton, The Life of Alison Baden-Clay, your piece will be in the weekend edition of the Courier Mail, as well as Madonna King's very interesting column, The Questions That Must Be Answered. So, folks, tune into that. Of course, the weekend edition of the Courier Mail, you can read Trent's piece and Madonna King's The Questions That Must Be Answered in the weekend edition of the Courier Mail. Alison, Sandy, it's been an interesting few weeks for you, and you've done a terrific job, and I know it's been hard for everyone involved, and I think we've maybe perhaps all learnt something from it, or the family and friends. Trent Dalton, thank you as well.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.